at, oh, okay, got it, is a freshman at University of Southern California. So Miss Anya Shaw's here, and she is an IB diploma recipient, class of 2021. In fact, Miss Shaw was our highest point diploma recipient last year. So congratulations to her for that. And she can share a little bit about her experience as well. And I do want to leave some time open for questions and answers at the end. So I'll be mindful of your time. So I'm going to start really quickly with this 3-minute video that just to show you a little bit about the Sonora culture, the IB program. I apologize if you have seen it, but it's always fun for me to actually see these kids as well. So.
Okay. I just have a quick question. Are we able to access the recording of this meeting?
Yes.
So I can show my daughter?
Yes, I will certainly, we'll be posting this as well. Yes.
Great, thank you.
We have students from private schools. We have students from public schools. We have homeschool population. So really, we have a lot of students that come from all over North Orange County that want to experience, the Raider life.
When I was an 8th grader coming in, I didn't really know many people. But through all the programs that I involved myself with, I was able to make so many friends so quickly because of the family that Sonora is.
IB is International Baccalaureate. It is a program that Sonora High School has had since 1986. Last year, we had 33 candidates and 33 recipients.
It gives you an education that is more than just like math, science, basic knowledge. It also teaches you how to be like empathetic and understanding and how to open yourself to different sort of mind views that you would otherwise not be exposed to.
Our students also take a variety of AP courses. So students, when they come to Sonora, aren't choosing AP or IB, they're taking both with the ultimate, end of achieving an IB diploma, which is the highest high school diploma available.
I am an IB diploma candidate. I'm also involved in many clubs that our school has. I'm the program coordinator for our school's club called Impact. I'm also involved in Best Buds, the National Honor Society, and California Scholarship Federation.
Our biggest club is actually Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
FCA is a Christian community where you don't have to be a Christian or an athlete to come to Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
It's about fellowship and promoting a culture of respect and fellowship here on our campus.
Some of the leadership skills that the students will learn in FCA are just speaking in front of people. So it helps in interviewing, it helps with if they want to go into some kind of teaching job or if they want to be speaking in front of other people.
Sonora is a really tight-knit community, just the closeness of the school. So ASB tries to work really closely with our community and our campus and all the programs. So we do a lot of events for our students.
We really foster a relationship that, promotes balance. So for example, of our 33 diploma candidates, half of them are varsity athletes.
The teachers and the staff talk back and forth to make sure that students have the space to be able to be engaged. Changing schedules, looking around to find flexibility is something that we really work really hard to do.
At Sonora, we're not about making kids choose. We're about making kids, really seek excellence in all areas of their life.
This school has just been like a really warm environment, and it's a very accepting community here that has ultimately helped me to succeed in life.
So that is our little IB video. We're talking a little bit about the program. It looks like we're still having that same problem according to my alumni. So I do apologize. I feel terrible that there's a bunch of people trying to get in and they cannot. But I'm going to move on forward with people that are here, and we are recording this. So please, I will post this as well and send emails to everybody. And okay, so our IB program, we have had Sonora IB since 1986. So I just wanted to go over a couple of the main questions that people have about Sonora Honors Program and what it looks like. And one of the things I always tell 8th grade parents to keep in mind as you're perusing different high schools is that you are not right now choosing whether your child is going to pursue a full IB diploma or not. And you're choosing whether or not they're going to attend Sonora High School and have the option to do so. So as you can see, these there's a lot of different paths that each kid is going to take, each child, and we support that here. I'm going to show you a little bit, some information here with students that have chosen to pursue this diploma and sort of where they're at, but it's going to be really different for every single person. And that's one of the things that makes Sonora really, really special. So this is, so you can see on this slideshow here, we've got some students from the previous couple of years as well at different events, graduation, Mr. Sonora competition. One of the questions that always comes up is, does my child have to choose? So if I attend Sonora High School, do I have to choose between AP, IB, and honors classes? No. Almost every Sonora Honors student will take all three of these types of classes. So you're going to work with your counselor and myself every year to reevaluate class selections. So coming in, you're going to have three options, and Ms. Welch, Ms. McGee, and Mr. Jonathan Gallegos, one of our students, will talk about those three options today. And you can have up to three, but you're each year you're going to build upon that. By the time they graduate, our top students sometimes will have 12 exams, 6 AP and 6 IB, anywhere in that range sometimes. So it's, you are not committing to one or the other. You have the option to take both. IB exams themselves actually don't begin until junior year. So one of the really benefits of choosing Sonora is that you have the option of pursuing this full IB diploma, but you can also do a mix of AP and IB courses, depending upon the subject matter and your interests. So how you apply, and I did put the link in the chat as well. Open enrollment closes, not this Friday, it's the next Friday, sorry. But open enrollment, you do need to go to your assigned home high school, choose Sonora as your home high school. The IB application is entirely separate. So there is no entrance exam this year due to COVID restrictions. It's just an online application. And we'll just use that in accompanying materials. So that's different than open enrollment, totally different application. What does it mean to be accepted? Well, there's 3 pre-IB honors courses choices for freshmen, which is why I wanted those teachers here today to give you some information about them. There's AP Human Geography, Honors English 1, and Honors Bio. Once you are accepted, your acceptance allows you to take all 3 of these classes. You can choose to take all 3, 1, 2, probably about 60% of the people that enter our IB program take all 3, but some just take 1 or 2 as well. Once I choose Sonora High School, what are my next options? So you want to open enroll, and then of course go on the, oh, that got changed, sorry. This was the wrong. So 4 main benefits. So 4 main benefits of pursuing an IB diploma. You gain the skills needed for college and life. So it's not just to get in. And I always talk about one of my favorite parts of our IB program at Sonora is that students don't take IB just to get in. They take IB to succeed once they're there. And it is a strong indicator of college success. I've got some stats here. And of course, you join a vibrant community of like-minded individuals. We have our bonfire here, our Sonora athletes, Sonora kids at prom, at IB kids. It's a journey. And we support each other in this journey, and they're lifelong connections. And of course, you challenge yourself to become more competitive, which these stats will show as well, of course, which puts you as a student in a different category. And lastly, and most practically speaking, you do get a lot of university credits, and that can allow yourself, especially if you attend a UC, a lot of flexibility or options. Private schools aren't quite as generous sometimes with those units. And you can see here our stats from the past couple of years. So we're very successful. It's been awesome. And even if our students don't pursue full diploma, we have about 25% of the Sonora High School senior class taking at least one IB class. So let's see. Mr. Atkins, any luck in taking that authentication off?
Unfortunately not. But I want to jump in just really quickly and talk to our families, if you don't mind, because we only have 13 people who aren't able to get in and join us right now. That's very unfortunate, but we're going to record it and we're going to make sure that it's available to you guys. One of the things that is very unique about our IB honors program that Mrs. Appenrod did hit on is the connections. We have connections that stretch well beyond just your 4 years in high school, as you will hear from our alumni who are going to speak to you tonight. But you'll also hear a little bit more about their testimony, because it is a testimony to the bonds, the home within the home that's created within IB. We just received an email. I was just telling the panel 7 hours ago from an alumni from the IB program who just had their essay published, their IB essay published. And that's just a testament. And it just so happens to coincide with tonight. So it's great to have those connections and for us to still hear the success stories well beyond high school. Our students, when they speak to you, I know I've heard many of them before, when they speak to, they let you know about their journey, because we could tell you the numbers, we could tell you all about the Yale, the Stanfords, the UCLAs, the stats, but there's a lot more to the stats. There's a story, there's a child behind each and every one of those, which we are very proud of here at Sonora High School, that they come from many different middle schools, junior high schools, and they've assimilated, they come together here at Sonora High School, and they graduate. They graduate with the college credits, the college units. And again, it's lifelong bonds that they've created that is so valuable to them. And I could go on, but I'll be quiet and let others speak and talk more about our program. I'm just so very proud of our IB honors program. And like I said before, our theme is welcome home, and IB and honors, it's a home within a home for our students, many of our students. And we're hoping that you will choose Sonora High School and our home within the home. All right. Mrs. Appenrod, I'm going to be quiet now and turn it over to you. I may have to leave you and split myself. I usually split myself into 2 or 3 and jump around. But I thank you all for contemplating, and I'm sorry we don't have you here in person, but this is just a little taste of what you'll get here at Sonora High School. Mrs. Appenrod, back over to you. You're on mute. Let's see him.
I am so flustered right now. I just am picturing all these parents that are so upset trying to get in, and so I'm sorry if you are at home, one of those people watching this later. I did update the settings. Maybe you can't do it once you start a meeting is the only thing I can think of. I don't know. I have no idea, because it doesn't say you need to be. Okay. So it's, I'm glad those of you that did manage to make it here tonight, that you can hear from Anya. Our other 3 alumni are still trying to get in because they no longer have their FJUHSD emails, and they don't have a younger sister like Anya does here, who she was able to use her credentials, which, but I did want to talk a little bit about what Mr. Atkins had said about the experience. And really, it's about the individuals that make up this IB program. And it is our most, sort of powerful selling point at Sonora High School is the people that are here. It's the people that make up this program. It's the teachers, it's the students, it's the admin, it's everybody on this campus that works towards this goal. And, our stats from last year are amazing. I'll just, show you a little bit just so you can see, but my favorite part about, seeing these stats is just, it's the kids' stories, right? So these candidates from last year, they were, we had, here's a bunch of them at the prom. They didn't get a prom last year. So one of the IB students actually hosted one at her house. They decorated the backyard and got all dressed up. And so, we can talk about, of course, one of these young men on this picture, he got his extended essay published just this year. Of course, he modified it a little bit. And that's so impressive. But the fact that they all got dressed up so they could have a high school prom and went to someone's house. And I thought that was really neat too, and really telling about our program. They not only pursue their highest high school diploma possible, they participate in Mr. Sonora. So these were our Mr. Sonora contestants last year that all happened to also be IB full diploma candidates and recipients come July. So I just think what's really special about the Sonora experience is your child will not only have the opportunity to, compete at the highest levels, they have the opportunity to go to the gym and participate in Mr. Sonora, or like this young lady and gentleman who are team captains of their sports. So you're not one-dimensional if you come to Sonora High School. They're very multi-dimensional and they have fun together. They go to basketball games. We just had a big whiteout this year where, I don't know if any of you went to the Lucerna Sonora game, and one of our diploma candidates, Hunter Blevins, was on the bench, and our IB section was so big because they all came that they were chanting, "We want Hunter," and it was so loud that the coach actually gave in and put him in. It helped that we were beating Lucerna by a lot, but it was just so cool to see these kids just chanting their heart out to get their fellow candidate in. A little bit of stats last year, again, just so you can see, this is just last year's kids, the places they went. But even more than that, even more than taking away, like, wow, I could be one of 16, and that is a lot actually when you have less than 400 seniors. I can be one, I can be at that beach bonfire. My child can go for Mr. Sonora. My child can be an ASB. My child can, participate in all of these things. So that's just something that I would encourage you to think about too, that we've got all these classes and we've got some new classes next year. We've got AP Physics C next year, which is really exciting. Yeah, they weren't able to get in. And so electricity and magnetism will be next year. The year after that, we'll be doing mechanics. We have Calc BC. So we have a lot of options for higher level classes, but we also have, of course, a lot of opportunities for socialization and being part of athletics and philanthropy and stuff like that. So if I could have Anya, if you can just share a little bit about your experience here and as an alumni and what you were involved in and just sort of the benefits of attending Sonora High School under IB education. And then I'll hand it over a little bit to the teachers so you guys can hear a little bit about their freshman year experience.
Yeah, so hi guys, I'm Anya. I am a freshman at USC. I'm studying global health and I'm on the pre-med track. I went to Sonora, and something that always drew me to Sonora, which Mrs. Appenrod talked about, was the sense of balance that students get. I was able to be in IB full-time, and I was also on the dance drill team. And so that took up a lot of my time. But in addition to that, I volunteered at hospitals. I also conducted research. I joined clubs like HOSA and I was also president of NHS and IB captain as well. And so just being able to juggle and balance all of that is something that I think makes IB super unique. And one thing that I would like to advocate more for is the teachers at Sonora. I mean, they love and care for you so much, and it genuinely shows through the 4 years. I mean, I love coming back to say hi to my teachers and even through a Zoom screen, because usually when you don't do your homework or an assignment, teachers, like at least in college, like they don't care, like that's on you. But no, Sonora teachers will ask you, and they'll ask you if you need extra time or extra help. And they do that not because they're mad at you, but because they care about you. And that shows through all the time they set aside to help you and through their rec letters. And so I think the teachers are a huge component of Sonora. And so I've always appreciated all that they've done for me. And I think some of my favorite memories have actually been through their classes, where I remember in APUSH, there's been times that we have to work on like group projects. And there's times that like you like get pushed in the pool to like film a scene. Or you're just like messing around with your friends and you have to keep retaking it because you keep messing up. Or you're staying after school to finish a bio experiment, but you and like the entire lab are there trying to figure it out together. And even in Mrs. Blevins' class last year, we would often have to read the play through Zoom. And so that was always a lot of fun. So it's these little moments within each class that I will always cherish. And even now, I still keep in touch with the IB group. And so occasionally we'll like message each other or just catch up. And I think that's part of the lifelong bond of IB. And even the bond, not just with your peers and other students, but with the teachers as well. And so that's been some of my favorite parts about IB. And if you guys ever have any questions, I would love to answer them.
Thank you, Anya. Very well said, as always. And our, I'm sad about missing our other three as well. I look forward to seeing their faces on these days too. They're spread out. So I'll just briefly, because they still can't get on, unfortunately. We had Ray Huffnagel, who is a sophomore at Berkeley, and Malia Perales, who's a sophomore at Brown, and Ellen Huang, who's a sophomore at Harvard, that we're going to come talk about their experiences. And it's always fun I like to poke fun at them as well. And, we talk about how, it's this bonding that Anya talked about in these classes as well. Some of the most important bonding comes in some of the most challenging classes, actually. We discovered in History of the Americas that Ellen couldn't do a push-up, right, when she was trying to join the Army, and just all these fun stories that come up and that we joke about for years to come. And these really are lifelong memories that the students make with each other and with their teachers as well. So I treasure that, and I know that they do as well. And that's where I think that the strongest selling point is, it's, people always say Sonora is really a hidden gem. It's this place where students and faculty all work together to really help them be their best selves and achieve balance, and still, be a teenager, but still compete at the highest levels and be prepared when they go to college, which they invariably are. So transitioning to freshman year, though, as I stated previously, there are 3 courses. And if you got a chance to look at that schedule link, there's many, many different options with all 3 honors classes, or just 1 honors class, or, so on and so forth. So I'm going to, I'll have Miss Welch go first. She's going to talk about biology, because I know she has some students working in her classroom in case she has to get back to them. They're working on their labs, actually. But Miss Welch, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about honors bio and the difference, because really next year your science option would be college prep biology or honors biology, and Miss Welch teaches both, so she can really address how to sort of make that decision.
Sure. Hi, I'm Amy Welch, and I teach biology, honors biology, and like Ms. Zappernot said, the second year of IB biology. So the class that the seniors would take after they take AP or IB biology their junior year. I do have a few pictures here that I can share from our classes right now in biology and honors biology. Oh, I can't share my screen, Ms. Zappernot.
I made you a co-host as well.
Oh.
So now you should be able to, hopefully.
Awesome. Oh, there we go. Okay, let me go ahead and just show this. And so, I mean, the main differences between the 2 courses in honors biology and biology, in terms of the curriculum and the activities that we do in the class, they are the same. The main difference comes with the pacing and the rigor, with the understanding of the different concepts and the skills. And in biology, we work in depth with our students on the skills, which we call the science and engineering practices. And the practices these are what students will have to do in college, but also these are the practices that scientists use as well. So such as asking questions, developing and using models, carrying out investigations, analyzing data, using math, constructing explanations. We do have a lot of writing in biology, and Mrs. McGee and I we've talked about this as well. We do a lot of math in biology as well. We engage in argument, and we obtain and evaluate information. So it's really a skills-based class. Of course, there's a lot of content that is covered as well, but we really work on those science skills. And we also work a lot on how the scientists think. So looking at cross-cutting concepts, and this is taught in all the science classes here at Sonora. This is not just a biology thing. So both the skills that I just mentioned, the practices, and these cross-cutting concepts. In terms of our class, the classes, both biology and honors biology, we all have our summative assessments, and then we have formative work, which is opportunities for the students to get feedback throughout the unit. And so that includes some, practice labs, data analysis. Students use a lot of models and develop models. And then of course there's summative assessments at the end of the unit. But in our class, students have a lot of opportunity to revise and reassess. in order to hit the learning target at the end. And that's for both biology and honors biology. So like I said, the main difference between the two courses is really the depth at which the students are learning the content and some of the pace in which they learn. But in terms of the labs and the activities that our students do, they're fairly similar between the two classes. So it's just an increased rigor with the honors level. Here are some pictures of activities that our students have done in the past. So a lot of model development, that's what you're seeing on the whiteboards there. Students have designed, they just did this last month, actually. They designed their own bottle ecosystems. So having to create a self-sustaining system for this school year. We're very fortunate here at Sonora to have our Chromebooks, but also a lot of probeware. So we're able to interface with our Chromebooks, as you can see down here, to gather real-time data. And these are also used a lot with our IB labs for the IAs, which we were just talking about. And, just a lot of inquiry, a lot of observation and coming up with questions, asking questions, looking at phenomena and trying to kind of solve a mystery. Every single unit's a mystery, and making those connections together and developing models. So this is an example of a model from an honors biology group last year. And this might look very overwhelming, but this was also, over a month, of learning. And the students investigated these different components of this model and then put this together. So it's really a collaborative class. I mean, I think it's really fun. I obviously am the teacher, but I know that the students in our class get to discover a lot, and it's very much from an inquiry-based approach. And students, these are just examples from projects in the past. They ask questions, they develop their own protocols, they come up with data and they analyze the data. We present information. This was from a few years ago. Like I said, there's a lot of writing involved as well. We go outside when we can. We try to look at the outside world and analyze data that way as well. So a lot of really real life skills. And here's my email address. So if there are any questions about the two courses, you can email me and I'd be happy to answer any questions. So I can stop sharing that.
Thank you, Ms. Welch. And Ms. Welch is the National Association Biology Teacher of the Year, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty amazing as well. She is she's an amazing biologist and a wonderful, talented teacher. And our kids are really lucky to get to learn from her, and especially how to do labs. That's, they're so lucky they go to college with these skills, and they do come back and share that they're always helping everybody else in biology when they go to college. So that's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
And we also have Miss McGee here, who is our Honors English 1 instructor.
So I want to echo everything that Anya and Amy and Shannon and Mr. Atkins said. Shannon, Ms. Appenrod said, and Amy Welch, Ms. Welch said. What a wonderful, warm, welcoming community that Sonora is. And I think that is something that you can't find very often. And I think it's something that we build in each of our classrooms, but it's also something that builds throughout the Sonora community and kind of snowballs, if you will. So I like to try to create a community in my classroom where students feel safe and feel free to take risks and make mistakes and have fun. But I also want them to be challenged. And so in my classroom, of course, it's totally different than science. We're not solving the mysteries of biology. We're reading and writing, but we're also trying to look at the big picture. In other words, what does this thing that we're reading have to do with anything else? How does this connect with some big essential questions in life? And so I teach with essential questions in mind. We do Socratic seminars, which are structured student-led discussions. The students get the opportunity to have a lot of choice in terms of how they show what they know. And I'm also, like Ms. Welch already said, really strongly advocate they're having the option to revise, resubmit, and redo, which leads to more success. I don't feel like it's not important when you learn a skill, it's just important that you learn it. And so having said that, a little bit about what we teach and what makes it a little different than college prep, in case you're deciding, just like you might be deciding for, if you're going to take honors bio or college prep bio. So basically, it's very similar to what Ms. Welch said. It's going to be deeper. It's going to be more intense. It's still going to cover all of the same information. It's still going to cover all of the same skills. In fact, we read all of the same works. We just throw in a few extras here and there in honors English. The writing, it's going to be asking more of the students. But in terms of homework, it's pretty manageable. One of the things that I think COVID brought out more than anything was that mental health is important, and kids, sometimes we need to check in, and sometimes kids will say like, we are really struggling, we are so overwhelmed. And so I try to honor that while also making them prepared for the next step. So I strongly recommend that they take honors English. I am a little biased, but I do think it gives them the foundation for writing and for reading closely, which is so important, honestly, in any course that they take. So we'd love to have your students. We have a lot of fun in the classroom. The kids are wonderful. I sent my own son to Sonora, just like many of our teachers did, because I love the kids and I love the teachers. And I think that says a lot about our community as well.
Thank you, Ms. McGee. And I also briefly shared too some of the typical homework assignment for you guys from your presentation as well, along with while you were speaking. And our last honors option freshman year is AP Human Geography. Now, our AP Human Geography teacher is Mr. Stein, who's also a basketball coach, and they do have a rescheduled game this evening. It was canceled or postponed due to COVID. And unfortunately, this is one of his favorite nights of the year, obviously when it's in person too, which is much better. But Mr. Gallegos is here tonight. He is a freshman and he is in Mr. Stein's AP Human Geography class. And he's just going to share a little bit with you about what the class is like, what he likes about it, how much homework he has. And maybe Jonathan, if you can just share what else you're involved with at Sonora High School. And Jonathan is our third Gallegos. His eldest sister is at Claremont McKenna. She is an amazing scholar and environmentalist. And his middle sister is currently a junior, future IB diploma candidate. And then we have Jonathan. So he's keeping the family legacy going, which we love to see. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm a freshman at Sonora. Just got finished with the first semester. I'd say AP Human Geography is one of those classes that for a freshman you kind of really just should take, because, and not even just because you're a freshman, because it's one of those classes that really sets the basics for like a lot of your viewpoint of the world, but also like in general, because it teaches you a lot of things that it really helps you understand the world in general, like a lot of different skills. Like you never really think about something that might be bigger than you. You kind of just see what's in your city, what's in your state, but then this looks more at things at countries, other countries, South America, Europe, like how do they function? How do they work? And I remember one of the first days, Mr. Stein told us, human geography is basically the teaching of why things are, where they are, and what might be there. And it really does teach you that, because like right now we're going over agriculture, and it's like, oh well, and it'll say, oh, corn and millet is grown here, and you'll think, well, why not over here? Like this is where I'm getting my product, or and then it's like, oh, it's grown over here because of the climate, or it's grown over here because of whatever reason, and you don't really think about these kind of things, but once you do, it really starts making sense. I'd say the workload for AP Human Geography really is not isn't really manageable. I'd say it's around 15 to 20 minutes of reading per night. And then the next day you'll usually take a quiz. That scares a lot of people off at the beginning of the semester or stuff like that, because it's like the first quiz, it'll like leave your grade either like maybe a B, or lower your grade a lot. But don't really be afraid of that, because you take so many quizzes. Like you take like a quiz every day, and it sounds really terrifying again, but then you go on to let's just say we go on to like I go to my biology class, and all of a sudden stuff like assessments and quizzes aren't as stressful anymore, because it's kind of like I know how to study for these. I know like it's not as scary anymore, and it really helps a lot. Yeah, it really varies for some people. For some people might find the class a lot more like a little bit more challenging, and some people might find the class a little bit like easier. But I'd say at the end of the day, Mr. Stein really like helps accommodate for that. Because I see a lot of students who maybe had a little bit of trouble like understanding something. They come in during tutorial, which is a 15-minute period during break for freshmen and sophomores. And you go, and he really like goes through with them in detail, and they walk out and they have a smile on their face, because all of a sudden they really understand what we're doing in class. And yeah, Mr. Stein's a really good teacher. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you very much. That was awesome. If you guys have any questions for Jonathan or Anya, they're here tonight, like as former students or students that have been involved in these programs. One of the things that Jonathan did mention that I think is important to highlight is we do have a 24-minute tutorial every single day, except for Friday. Actually, Fridays we have the long lunches, which the students are obsessed with, that long lunch Friday. The tutorials are fantastic opportunities. You're not assigned, the students, well, the IB students are not traditionally assigned to a tutorial. They can go wherever they need help. So all freshmen have a tutorial, but after that, they will go and get help with whatever teacher they need help with, finish homework. It's just really a really valuable part of our day, and I think where a lot of learning happens actually during that 24 minutes. So sometimes it's getting something that you didn't understand before, or sometimes it's moving on. Sometimes it's helping a fellow student understand something. It's really, really valuable time. So any questions for these two? You can also put them in the chat if you so desire. Okay, great. So I want to hand over the microphone, if you will, to Miss Blevins and talk a little bit. And now Miss Blevins is going to be with me even when she retires this year, because she's going to have to come to these, but it'll be in person. I'm very frustrated right now with this Zoom and how many parents we missed tonight. But Miss Blevins, could you share a little bit about your experience with Sonora High School?
Sure. So thank you so much, Jonathan and Anya, particularly coming. And Shannon, I think you've done a beautiful job. Sometimes technology doesn't work. It never works for me. I have a little poltergeist that follows me around. So what you're going through tonight is my usual day. Thank you so much, Amy and Lori, Miss McGee and Miss Welch. There's two things that I want to, well, actually three things that I want to share. But the first thing is what Anya alluded to. I don't want to start crying because this is my last time doing this as a teacher, but I love who I teach with. I love the people in the 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and the senior faculty. I don't know of another faculty like this. I tutor kids from Irvine, from Northwood, from Whittier Christian, from all over Orange County, and the kids will say, I don't have teachers like that. Like, that's just not something. I would never give my phone number to a teacher. I would never text my teacher. If your kids come to Sonora, you're going to have a second family, as Mr. Atkins alluded to, but mostly they're going to have a lot of new moms and a lot of new dads and uncles and aunts and grandparents like me, because we love what we do. And this is my 34th year at Sonora, and I will never forget the first month I came and finished my first month. And at that time, we didn't have computers, if you can imagine. We got little checks in our cubbies, and I got my check and I started screaming. And I didn't have tenure, so I probably looked like I was a little crazy. And I just said, oh my gosh, I forget I get paid for this job. Because I just felt like it was like being a counselor at camp, and I was volunteering. And so you will feel so hopeful about your child's education just because of the teacher piece. My second piece, not as a teacher, but as a parent, some of you have already heard this story, but I was driving with my daughter to a dance class. She was at Irvine High School. I got a text from one of my students at Cal State Fullerton saying exactly what I've just shared with you. I'm not close with any of my teachers. I miss you. I miss all the teachers at Sonora. And because I was driving, I said, Rachel, read the text. And she read it. And she's like, I will never say that to my teachers, except for a dance teacher, of course. And I said, that's it. My son is not going to Irvine High School. And it wasn't just the high school. It was, I wanted my son, who's pretty gregarious, to go to a school where he'd known Miss Appenrod for a while. He'd known Miss Tusla since he was 0. And I wanted him to come to school at Sonora for the teachers and the IB program. He was a swimmer at Sonora, and so that took up a lot of his time, so he was unable to do the diploma, but he still had Miss Welch, teacher extraordinaire. He did not get to have Miss McGee, I'm sorry, but he did get to have Miss Appenrod, teacher extraordinaire. He got to have Tusla Sanchez, and he got to have his mother. And I just would like to say the achievement was he didn't kill me and I didn't kill him. We got along through the year, but I had to drive him to school every single day for 3.5 years until we finally had an extra car and he could drive here. But it was a sacrifice, but it was a purposeful sacrifice because I wanted him to have exposure to IB program and to these amazing teachers. So lastly, as a teacher, I feel so blessed that I've had this tenure and this experience at Sonora. I try to do whatever I can. As Anya said, we had to read plays on Zoom. We would wear crazy hats on Zoom. We'd wear crazy masks on Zoom when we were reading because we still had to get through the content. And we still had, I do not even know, Amy, how you did labs. I do not know how you did so many of the things on Zoom. But we persevered, and I just loved the last 3 years, even though I've also hated them because this is my 3rd senior class, having gone through the aftermath of COVID, and the kids have been resilient and amazing. And I just don't see that with the kids that I tutor from other schools, how they came together and felt like that they had a community. So the IB English program is really, really strong. It's a 2-year program. It's odd for the kids because they've never tested in English until their senior year, but they start doing assessments their junior year. I work really, really closely with whoever is teaching the junior year, and your students or your kids will love the junior and senior teachers when they get there. But we work really hard on critical thinking. A lot of the skills that Jonathan and Miss McGee and Miss Welch spoke about. I work a lot in conjunction with Miss Appenrod because she and I have a lot of the same close reading skills and a lot of the same writing skills. But the kids leave my class never with a feeling like they can't ask questions. They actually come back and say, just like what Miss Appenrod said about the labs, we're helping our friends, even kids that have gone to Harvard, we're helping our friends learn how to write because they didn't learn how to write. So all the private school money that those parents spent, and a lot of those schools, unfortunately, the kids did not learn to write. So they can leave Sonora, and I promise you, with a better sense and clarity of questioning, feeling confident. The IB mission statement and the IB learner profile are just phenomenal. And I go through those every couple of weeks just to remind the kids, you need to be risk takers and you need to have these skills. It's also important that our faculty looks, as Ms. McGee alluded to, we look at the whole human being. Anya and I were texting each other right before this conference started that we love our kids. And that sometimes happens where we do restorative circles, where we'll just say, we're not doing skills today. I need to check in and see how you're doing. And that's just something that is a beautiful gift that I've been given just being a teacher. And I want to thank you, Ms. Appenrod. You are a treasure, and thank you so much for putting this on and for honoring all of us.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And oh, thank you so much in the chat. Thank you. That's amazing. I really just wanted to close this evening once again with thanking those of you that were able to persevere past the FJU HSD authentication wall that was built, and and make your way here this evening. And we will definitely record and put this on the website as well and send it to some of our middle schools. And we do have a registration day on Saturday, March 5th. Of course, open enrollment will be done at that point. But once you do choose to come to Sonora High School, we'll have coaches there. We'll have summer dates. You'll be able to sort of line up your other activities once you've chosen Sonora High School. Everybody will be there. It will be a festival type setting. So I know that you really have, a little bit over a week here to figure out, your high school decisions. And there really is no wrong decision in our district. Every high school has, great programs, but Sonora is a very special place, and especially in our IB program. And I want to thank you for coming tonight to learn more about it. And
wait, Ms. Appenrod, you didn't talk about your class, because my son was able to take your class. Ms. Welch, sorry, Ms. Welch, you did not perform as well as you could have in your class. And as I said, he took my class. But I want everyone to know Ms. Appenrod is still actively teaching.
I am. I taught AP Euro for around 20 years, and I teach the IB History of the Americas course, which is the senior level history course, which is really like a comparative politics. One of the really neat things about the IB diploma and program is that they get to take classes that traditionally high school students don't. So they take a theory of knowledge class, which is like a philosophy class. They take History of the Americas, which is a traditional history course, but also has a little bit of comparative politics to it. So my question is, can out-of-district students also come on March 5th and register? Even if, yes, they can come and partake, they definitely should come partake in the fair, the festival, the fun. They'll just be holding, you won't officially be registered, but you can come and get your schedule ready and go through all the different tables. You're just gonna have to probably turn it in later, but that's all right. I would still encourage you to come just so you get to see that the people you'll be with, your future class together. So on the dot here, we're almost here. If anyone has questions, I will stay on for a couple of moments. Application is open. Our turnaround time is only about 2 days right now. So once you apply, you should, I know that Norwalk, La Mirada, you need your letters before the 30th. So I encourage you to get that application filled out. Thank you very much for coming and learning about our program and our school. And thank you to all my teachers and students and alumni as well. Thank you. Good evening.
I have a question. Hello?
Yes.
So for the, because I'm on the phone and I didn't really get to see or look at the slideshows or anything, will you email us the links that you were talking about?
Yes, absolutely. I will. Have you applied already? So I have your email?
Yes, actually my son was already accepted for the IB honors program.
Oh, then definitely, yes. I will
freshmen.
send the links for those videos because I know it's difficult to see it on the phone as well to everybody that is on the list as well. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I have a question also. What is the main difference between IB and honors?
So that's a great question. So honors, IB classes and AP classes are honors courses. So basically any honors course is an accelerated course where students will typically receive a weighted grade. So they'll get a grade bump, and as well as just a little more rigor with both the curriculum and the testing and the skills. So we have, freshman year, honors English 1, and honors biology are not AP or IB, they're honors. There's no external assessment through an organization like College Board or IB. They will get a weighted grade on their school GPA, and they will have, you know, a little bit more rigor than a traditional course. AP classes and IB classes both have a test at the end that the students pay to take, and if they do pass, they will receive college credits. So we have a mixture of honors, AP, and IB, and if your child is in the IB program, they will take a mix of all three. Honors is usually more freshman and sophomore year, and then they go transition by junior and senior year into their AP and IB courses.
Miss Appenrod, can I add something? I have kids in my currently in my senior class. So I have 60 kids and 7 of them are not taking the IB exam. 2 of them are taking the AP Lit exam, and 5 of them for their particular colleges do not require or need IB or AP. So sometimes we have to teach to both of the tests. And that, again, that's the accommodating spirit of Sonora.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Ms. Blevins. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one more question. The IB acceptance letter, as far as the inter-district transfers, is that pretty much a go for the transfer, or?
Absolutely. That is exactly what you need. So you take that letter and you take that to your home high school or district office, and that's your ticket out, if you will, as I usually say. That is what you need to be really, as long as your school doesn't have an IB program.
Right, and which hers doesn't. So
right.
The only other thing we may be looking at is if she's got IB acceptance from more than one school.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess at that point it becomes a choice. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yep. That's where you make a choice based on where you think the best fit is for her path.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for coming. I don't think we have any more questions. So those of you who had to join from your phone, thank you, and I apologize. And I will get those links for you for these presentations as well. Have a great evening. Stay healthy. Take care.